Hello! In today's video, I am going to share with you not one, but 6 reasons why I decided not to have a baby shower. First of all, I just want to say that if you like a baby shower, if that makes sense for you, that's totally fine. I'm not here to criticize you or what you like, what you're planning to do. I'm just gonna tell you why maybe this is not the best option for myself. First of all, when I was pregnant, the truth is I was not even thinking or consider of having a baby shower at all. But one of my dear friends kindly offered to throw me a baby shower, and I was just so honored and happy just by her sweet offer, because nobody had ever even offered such a thing to me. So I thought it was extremely kind of her to even think of me and try to honor me somehow, offering to shower me with a baby shower. But at the same time, I started to think about a very polite way to decline the offer for all the reasons that I'm going to talk to you during this video. So let's start. Number 1, I believe that I'm just not a big fan of showers in general. For you see, when I got married, for example, 15 years ago, I had no interest in having a baby shower. I did not even have a baby shower at all when I got married because I'm just not a big fan of it. I think that the thought of gathering a group of people together just to have some small talk and sometimes play some games, some silly games in many situations, just horrifies me. Social interactions in general are things that I just would rather not have, because I have a personality of being a deeply introvert person, even though I'm here on YouTube. And for many years of my life, I was a teacher, and in a professional level, I'm totally fine with these interactions. But in a personal level, where I have the option to choose or not to do so, I prefer to just stay in my corner with my solitude, peace and quiet. And I'm just not a big fan of parties at all. So I was just not attracted by the idea, of having some people coming over, even if it was a smaller group of people, because I don't know that many people, so it wouldn't be a huge party anyway. But sometimes people end up inviting people for a baby shower because they don't want to exclude, for example, that family member that does not even interact with you for many months or even years, or some friends that you haven't seen in such a long time. And I don't know about you, but I find it a little bit awkward, for example, when you haven't seen a friend, for example, in months, you haven't talked to them for maybe years, and then you get an invitation like a baby shower. So you feel that little, I don't know, so you may or may not feel pressured to attend it, but sometimes, these are situations that you would rather not even participate because you're not even that close to that person any longer. So I just think it's a little awkward sometimes. It may be a little weird. The number 2 reason is gift. The thing is, I don't know about you, but I think I would feel at least a little uncomfortable to show up in a baby shower, for example, empty-handed. I think in our culture, it's assumed that if you're invited to a party like a baby shower, for example, you should by default bring something. It's polite, if you were invited to bring a gift, and that's okay. But the thing is, most people that you invited, for example, for your baby shower and kindly brought you something for you or the baby under other circumstances. For example, if you had decided not to have a baby shower, and these same people would never had brought you a gift, for example. So I'm not complaining about gifts, you know. The thing is, gifts are greatly appreciated if people are giving them more spontaneously. For example, if somebody sees something and they think about me or think about my baby, they think, oh, I think, you know, Karen would love that, or the baby would love this. I would love to receive any gift under those circumstances, but when somebody buys a gift just because they are going to attend a baby shower and they just do not want to show up empty-handed, to tell you the truth, I personally would rather not to receive any gifts under these circumstances. So I don't know, what do you think about it? The third reason is, I don't know, it's still talking about gifts. The thing is, when we have a baby shower, there are usually two options about gifts. Either you give your guests the freedom to pick whatever they want for you, and when that happens, you may end up with a bunch of diapers one size and no diapers, for example, the other size, or you may end up with gifts that you don't need, or even repeated gifts, or even gifts that you just don't like or don't need. Even though people were thoughtful, you know, trying to guess what you would like, sometimes in the end you're just not gonna share the same taste, I guess. So another option, there's even, I think, more popular, is when people do the registry. And they usually do that online. So in the registry, you have, for example, a list of pre-selected gifts that you do want and you do need. But I still think there's a problem with that. Because, for example, let's say that I put a list there with items with a range of prices that for me may be okay. But even the cheapest items that I have on my list, for example, that I may think all my guests would be totally fine with that, I don't know people's financial situation and I don't want to inquire about that. I don't want to ask for that. Sometimes the cheapest items that I have on my list and that I think are cheap may be something, you know, expensive for someone else. And I don't want anybody feeling, you know, uncomfortable to have, you know, that stricted list to pick from items that, I don't know, maybe an item that is $20, for example, for me, it's totally fine. But for somebody who is struggling financially maybe and is invited for a baby shower that they do want to participate and they don't want to show up empty-handed, those same $20 may be a lot of money depending through the stage in life that they're going through, you know, financially, if things are a little tough for them. So I don't know, I would say that either option doesn't settle very well with me. Either just, you know, giving everybody the freedom to pick whatever they want or not, you know, because lots of people have like a little theme that they want to follow, or their favorite color palette for the baby. And when you give everybody the freedom to choose whatever they want, you know, people are gonna just not gonna align, you know, their tastes with yours. So that's complicated. I just think that's a little complicated. Number 4 now is that parties cost money. It's not free, and it doesn't matter if it's a smaller and more simple party or if it's a larger one. Each is going to cost some money. Some people are going to throw more money than others in a baby shower. Some parties are more simple than the others, but it's going to cost money. And this is money that I would rather, for example, put in other things. In my opinion, I would rather buy something for my baby, for example, than to put that same amount of money towards a party, to finance a party, for example. I was searching, about that the other day online, and I read that even though there are absolutely no rules, it's usually, the host who is throwing, the party that is in your honor, that is usually the one who is going to finance the party too. But still, I don't want to put that burden in someone else. And even a simple party requires some sorts of expenses. For example, if you're gonna have several people over for some amount of time, you should, provide some food, for example, some beverage. If you're like, alcohol is expensive, but even if you're not gonna buy any alcohol, you should buy at least some soda, some juice, some water, something, and that's gonna cost you money too. And another thing is that if it's a party, I think there should be at least a minimum amount of decor involved. And what do you do with the decor, all that decor after party? I don't have a place to store, for example, all that. I don't know anybody else that is also pregnant at the same time that would love to receive my used decor as a gift, for example. So there are all these things to consider, about the financing part of it. And to be honest with you, I don't feel very comfortable with this concept, for example, of the host who was kind enough to maybe even open the doors of their house to have a party there, or is financing my party. I don't want somebody else to pay for my party to my guests, I think it's just weird. So, but at the same time, it's not that I do not have, for example, the money to do that myself instead. It's just that once I have the money, I would just rather put it somewhere else. I think this is not a huge priority for me. If it was important for me, of course, I would gladly do so. But if it's not a priority, why would I do that? Why would I put so much time and effort in something that is not even that important for me in the end? And if you leave it to your host, for example, to finance it, you leave all the decisions in their hands, for example, you may end up with a decor that is not your taste. Even if you're participating and you're involved in the decor process, for example, I don't know, maybe a simple decor for me is not the same standards of simple decor for my host, or maybe I think it's a little bit too much. And in either case, I don't think I would feel comfortable to approach a host who is kindly doing a party for me for free, to say, what, I think we should buy more decor, or what, I think you're exaggerating and it's a little bit too much. So I don't know, it's complicated. Or am I complicating the things? Even if you are not gonna have the baby shower in your house or the host house, you need to have this party somewhere. So you're probably gonna need to rent a place to have this party done, and that's gonna cost you money to be done. And if it's a bigger party with more people, you're probably gonna need servers too. I don't think it's very polite to be recruiting guests at the party to work as servers, and you as one of the hosts, should be there entertaining people instead of cutting the cake and, with trays of food. So you need at least to hire one person, maybe if it's a larger party, to help you with all of that. And that's not gonna be free either. Well, the fifth reason is just that I'm an introvert. That's it. That's who I am. Like it or not, that's it. So I just don't like social gatherings. I'm not a big fan of parties in general. So that's it. And to be honest with you, I don't think I even know enough people to justify a baby shower. So if I had it, it would be something really small, and the people that I probably would like to participate and to be there the most, some of them would not be able to attend. Like, for example, if I had a baby shower, I would absolutely love my mother to be there for me. Of course, she would be the grandmother of my child. And my mother lives in Brazil. She's in another country. She works in 2 different public schools, and she is not gonna be on vacation during the time of the baby shower. So I knew that even if I invited her, even though she would love to participate, she would even feel a little sad that she couldn't be there. And my husband's parents, for example, too, I'm sure they would love to be there too. But do I want them, to drive over 10 hours on the road just to participate for a party that maybe just a few hours, So I don't know, I feel a little uncomfortable, Of course, once you invite people, it's up to them to accept or decline an invitation, and that would be totally fine, But I don't know, I can see a lot of people that would love to be there and just cannot be there. And I totally understand why they cannot be there. So I don't know, I would have, a party with, of course, dear people, but some very important people for me. I know that they could not participate, they could not join me at that moment, at least physically there. So there are just, many people that I can think of that would end up feeling excluded in a way, not because they were not invited, but because they simply could not attend the celebration. And now the last reason is that after I discovered that I was pregnant and decided to tell everyone, I got so many gifts from so many wonderful people that just rejoiced with the news like I did, and just spontaneously decided to just shower me with beautiful and thoughtful gifts. And I got a lot of stuff. Even though I don't know a lot of people, the few people that I know, they were so happy for me and for that season in my life, and they thought of me and they thought of my baby, and they brought me so many gifts that I'm just beyond thankful for all the thoughtness behind all that and all the gifts too, that now I think it's not fair to these same people to just invite them to a baby shower and, in other words, ask for more. These people have just given me so much, and then I invited them to a baby shower and they're gonna show up empty-handed. I think they're gonna feel kind of odd to participate and not to bring me something. So I don't want to put anybody in this position, I'm already very grateful for everything that I got without even asking for it, and I think it's just not fair to ask for more. I just want to mention that even though I did not have a baby shower, in the end there was another kind of celebration, because I was invited to go to a restaurant with some friends and people, and we had a great time together with no party, gifts or games. So that's it. Maybe in the end, I'm just trying to justify that it's not for me. I just don't like it. Maybe this whole video was just an excuse just to not to do it because I just don't like it. But maybe you feel the same way that I do or not. Leave me here in the comments, below what you think about that, what you think about baby showers. Did you have a baby shower or not, and why you decided to do that or not to do that? So if you liked this video, please click on like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Bye bye!